One day, 2-year-old Alaric complained about his feet hurting, then his back. What happened after came on fast, and his recovery is nothing short of inspiring. Spectrum News 1 reporter Camity Rudd has his story.
The Bridgman family consists of Mom Sarah, Dad Dustin.
Oh, that's so cool. You ready?
3 daughters.
Emily, Allie, and Ava.
And the youngest sibling.
Alec.
Or Alaric, a German name that's very fitting for this 2-year-old. If you break it down, it means noble or all-powerful.
He's always on the go. He never stops, never stops, never stops.
However, one night when all the girls were out and it was just Alaric and his dad at home, Alaric did stop.
That's when I started noticing something was wrong.
First, he had trouble moving his arms, then complained about his back and feet hurting. Within hours, he couldn't move at all. The first hospital they went to didn't have answers, so they went to a different doctor almost immediately. Her diagnosis was urgent.
You guys are being, medevac tech.
Although now, looking back, everything seemed like a blur. At the time,
Life stopped.
for a family that's always seemed to have the answer,
Things were fixers.
this time,
We couldn't fix this.
they didn't.
When you hear those words muttered that he's paralyzed and he may never walk, that was the hard part.
For the Bridgmans, there's life before December 5th, 2020,
Within hours, our life changed.
and life after. At Akron Children's Hospital, Alaric was diagnosed with transverse myelitis, which is inflammation of the spinal cord, the part of the central nervous system that sends impulses from the brain to nerves in the body. Thankfully, the all-powerful Alaric is resilient.
He's always been a fighter. So, Daddy.
15 days of treatment, and finally,
You moved your foot.
Alaric started to move.
Yay! He has more fight than half the people that I know in the world.
Early February, months after his diagnosis, nurses and doctors lined the hall to send Alaric home, walking out on his own 2 feet. Life, of course, has changed, and those changes come with new perspective.
I don't take things for granted anymore.
Alaric is now home, recovering. He uses a walker, usually at full speed, to help get around. He has therapy 3 times a week and normally wears braces on his arms to help open his hands.
I'm doing lefty and righty.
While he's doing well, the family doesn't know when or if he will ever make a full recovery.
Because every kid is different.
Thank you.
But one thing they do know,
I'm not my son's hero, he's my hero.
the all-powerful Alaric will continue
Because he don't give up.
to fight.
Such a sweet family. So Alaric is doing great right now, and it's hard to believe how quickly his symptoms really came on. His parents say they're thankful for his spirit and his stubbornness because it's definitely helped him in the recovery process.
Wow, Camity, this is really an incredible story. It was great, though, to see him walk out of the hospital. But at the end of the day, this is a scary situation. So is this something that's more common than we realize?
Yeah, you know, that's a really good question, and thank goodness it's not, but it does happen, obviously. So I spoke with Alaric's neurologist, and he says it can happen to kids and adults. So the most important thing, especially for parents, is to just go with your gut.
When you hear about stories like this, as a parent myself, it always scares you. What I would say is if your child, has a new symptom and you perceive it to be something that's urgent, advocate for them, because that's what Alaric's family did. Thankfully, most kids don't have something like this. But if this is on your radar and things are new and they're not getting better and they're not coming and going, they're just constant, get help.
That is a very good message. And when it comes to his recovery, we know that he's doing great now, obviously, but what is his prognosis for the future?
Yeah, another great question, because they really aren't sure, because every case is, of course, different. But Dr. Rossman says he's thrilled with the progress Alaric's made so far.
It's going to feel like 10 years for the family these last few months, but he's only 3 months into this. And so we're still in that early phase. And the fact that he's made so much recovery so quickly is really reassuring. Sometimes, though, you see kind of more rapid recovery early on in the first 3 to 6 months, and then the recovery that you continue to have is a little bit less robust, but no less meaningful.
You said it too. It is a scary situation. So as a parent myself, I was like, give me all the reassurance that I need. But Dr. Rossman just really says the biggest takeaway is to always go with your gut. And if something seems off, of course, call your doctor.
Well, you could really see the emotion that the family has been through with this experience, and we will be very hopeful for him for his future. Our Camity Rudd, thank you so much.